we are joined by Pharoah Abdullah of the Orchestra, longtime member since 75, you said? 74. Okay. Welcome to WKCR.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, to start off, why don't we get into how you came to meet Sun Ra and join the group?
I came to meet Sun Ra through a place we had, this cultural organization in Brooklyn that was called the East. And I had come into percussion, particularly bells, and I played with Pharoah Saunders, and I received this bell vibration. Then Pharoah stopped playing the bells, and I heard Sun Ra. We had this brother, Wali, that told me he had someone he wanted me to check out, because I had never heard Sun Ra prior to this. So Wally brought Sun Ra to the East one day, and he came, and I heard this music, and it frightened me because it was too heavy. It was heavier than anything that I had ever heard. And I'm a very spiritual person, and it was just like it was too high for me. But yet and still, it was where my head and my spirits wanted to be. So Sun Ra was doing this concert, and I brought my bells in one day, and I set them there, and I tried to sneak in. I was going to play bells. And so the band was carrying on. I was playing bells. And then all of a sudden, Sun Ra sent one of the brothers, it was Jackson, over. And Jackson came over and whispered in my ear, Abdullah, Sun Ra said, anytime you want to take a solo, to let us know, and we will stop and let you play.
Well,
well, I was completely flabbergasted, and I just got up and I walked out of the place. And to that, I was given this record, Discipline 2711, which to me, Sun Ra did that especially for me because it gave me my discipline. And since then, I used to go around the band, but I never took my bells no more after that. Until one day we was having an event in Brooklyn, and I brought my bells in, and Sun Ra saw me, and he invited me to the stage. And after that set, they were going to Washington, and they had the bus, and Sun Ra asked me to go with them to Washington. And again, I was flabbergasted because I didn't feel that I was good enough to play with Sun Ra. And so I didn't go. But I went home, and I just was on myself for a long while, why didn't I go? And after that, I just went in and I started playing with Sun Ra. He gave me my place in the band. He told me he wanted me next to him so he can keep an eye on me. And there I've been since.
So when was the first time when you really joined the band and you felt really part of it?
I would say that was 75.
And that was live, or was that a studio date?
That was live.
Do you want to elaborate on that at all? How was the situation and how you felt the first time really fitting in?
I felt, well, this was really me. This is where I belonged, and this is where I had always wanted to be, because the music was so spiritual, and Sun Ra being such a spiritual person as he is, once I became with Sun Ra, there was no other music that I wanted to play or felt I could be a part of, because no other music, the music was like where my spirits in my head is at.
Now, you mentioned the importance of the spiritual component, and Sun Ra mentioned the same thing when he was here. How do you see yourself fitting in the spiritual with Sun Ra?
Sun Ra, to me, is the leader, the one that can take me where I want to be. And where I would like to be is with the Creator. And Sun Ra, to me, is he has the ship that can take you there if you have the discipline to be able to go.
Now, whenever I see you, you bring so much energy to the stage. For those of you who've never seen Sun Ra, Pharoah here, he's always smiling. He's always happy. He's playing his bells and he's dancing around. What role do you see yourself having within the orchestra? I mean, to me, I don't know. For me, you always make me smile. And I can't believe that people on the band can't smile,
Well, I'm the medicine man of rhythm. And the medicine man is the one that deals with the spirits. My job is to raise the spirits, to bring the spirits up, put everyone in a good vibration and to feed that vibration. And that is done by what you might say, a bell you might ring. It's all vibrational, and you just react as the spirit moves you to do.
Now, when often with Sun Ra, I mean, he's mentioned the importance of percussion, and there are times where everyone's playing percussion. How do you fit in there? I mean, who leads it, or is it just a communal activity?
I play my percussion, my bells. I play according to the vibrations of Sun Ra. I get my cues from his vibration. It's like the rays emanating to me that cause me to play a bell or make a sound or whatever. It's all vibrational.
I'm curious about what kind of... I see you're wearing bells around your body now, and when you're playing, you have all kinds of bells. I was curious, what kind of bells are they?
They are my omniversal joy bells. You see, bells are spiritual instruments. They bring out the spirits. Bells are very important in our lives. They play in so many ways. The subway is a bell. You go to school, it's a bell. There's church bells. You die, they ring a bell. You're born, they ring a bell. You have the clock is a bell. You have all these bells. And bells awaken you. They can even awaken you to go to sleep. When we speak of heaven, or when they ring those golden bells and bells, when we think of bells, we think of joy. And I feel that my bells, well, Sun Ra always did have bells in the band. The brothers always had bells. You'd see them have a bell. But then I came with bells. And it's just, I love to ring in the joy. I like to see everyone in good spirits, so because it's a high music and you have to be in good spirits.
Well, I should say you're tuned into WKCR FM New York, 89.9, and we are here with Pharoah Abdullah from The Bellman, I should say. Pharoah Abdullah, The Bellman. And we are in the middle of Sun Ra Radioactivity, a 116-hour broadcast of the music of Sun Ra. And I thought now that we should go to a little bit of music, just to offset the interview. We have, Pharoah was nice enough to bring us an album, an ESP disc, Sun Ra Nothing Is. And we'll be hearing the composition from it, Exotic Forest. And that was recorded in 1966? Okay, so now, Sun Ra from Nothing Is, Exotic Forest.
You are in tune to WKCR FM New York. And the piece that you just heard was, of course, by Sun Ra and the Orchestra. Exotic Forest was the title of it, featuring stellar oboe work by Marshall Allen. And this is found on the album Nothing Is on the ESP label. Originally released, I believe, as the Heliocentric Worlds Volume 3. And it was indeed part of that series on ESP Records, recorded May of 1966 during a tour of New York State colleges. And I am here, my name's Charles Blass. I'm here with Andy Rotman. We're hosting this segment, and we're joined by the medicine man of rhythm, Pharoah Abdullah.
Now, during the break while this record was playing, I was commenting on that head, and you said you had got it in Africa. So you've traveled around.
Yes.
And I gather you've gathered bells while you traveled around.
Yes.
Could you tell us a bit about what you've gotten in your different travels?
Yes, well, everywhere I go, anytime I see a bell, I like to collect it. A lot of my bells are from India. I once met a gentleman on 14th Street, and he saw me passing by and heard bells, and he called me in, and he said, "Hey, I got something for you." And he showed me this catalog with all of these bells in it, which is where the bigger portion of my bells came from, was from this gentleman who showed me all the bell catalog, and he ordered me so many bells from India for me.
And you also got bells in Africa?
Yes, I have some bells that I collected in my travels when I was in Africa.
Now, did you travel to these places with Sun Ra, or was this...
No, I was traveling alone. I was just touring, checking out, looking, trying to find out and learn.
So you've been a bell player for a long time?
I have been into bells since about 1972. It's when I actually got into bells. because I played piano, I played other, but mostly piano I played, but I never was into the jazz idiom until I happened by accident to get a recording of Miles Davis through the Columbia Book Record Club. And I listened to this record, and then it put my head into a whole medium of music, which was where I had wanted to be at, because I had been into music. I love all music, but when I heard this Miles Davis record, it was like that was me. You know, it was the rhythm that I tried to achieve and do that I hadn't been able to find in other types of music that I had gotten into. And from there, I continued on. This was in 1965. And then I came back to New York after I left for a while. I came back in 1971 and discovered this culture club in Brooklyn. It was called the East, where we used to have all the musicians that came. As I say, when I saw Pharoah Sanders.
Yeah, there's the Pharoah Sanders album Live at the East.
Yes. When I saw Pharoah Sanders and came in the cafe and heard him with those bells and so forth, just somehow I knew, hey, that's me. Because there was nothing that I could play or do that I could give the vibration that I felt and let come through, and except was on the bells. And I got into bells with Pharoah. And after a while, and I played with McCoy Tyner, just all the fellas who used to come down to the East. I played with Max Roach, quite a few other brothers I played with. And then it got to a point where, because of the spirit that I had and the feelings that I had, it was like playing with them. There was something missing. They didn't seem to quite go to the heights where my head and where my spirits was. And it got to the point that I couldn't even play with those brothers, because I tried to play and the drummers would look at me and ask me to lay out and say, don't play. I said, because I can't play. But on the contrary, the drummers with Sunrat, they tell me I don't play enough bells. So that's how I got into the bells from there. And then once I met Sunrat, and Sunrat called me in, and now the cats see me and they said, that's where you belong. The ones that used to ask me to lay out, they found that I was Sunrat. They said, oh, that's where you belong. And as I say, Sunrat, he taught me discipline. He taught me discipline of my feelings, discipline of my spirits.
Now, discipline has been the key word through this interview. How has Sunrat taught you discipline? Has he physically took you aside, talked to you, or is it just through his presence?
Both. He has talked to me, and also in his presence also as well has given me the discipline. As I say, after that incident where he told me to, when I wanted to play, let him know, and he would let me play a solo. The discipline came through disciplining my spirits, and letting you feel and know, because it's, you can tend to burn your head out, burn your spirits out, trying to find or achieve that you seek in your mind and in your feelings. And it takes discipline to discipline yourself, such as in anything you might do, so that you don't overdo in whatever it is might be that you're trying to accomplish or feel, however it may be.
Well, I should let you know you're tuned into 89.9 WKCR FM New York, and we are in the middle of the Sunrat Festival. And with all this talk about discipline, what could be more appropriate than bringing up the Sunrat album Discipline 2711? Now, you said that you had a strong relationship with Sunrat in regard to this album. Could you elaborate on that a little?
Well, it was after that incident that Jackson came over and told me what Sunrat had said that I stopped and took stock of myself. And this album was given to me. And it was through playing that album and listening to it because I listened to that album for so long. And it was in that album that I developed the discipline to be able to discipline my feelings and discipline my spirits, which is a very spiritual thing. It's something that you feel, and because as we say, Sunrise music is just so spiritual. I remember Sunrise saying once that if everybody in the world, if they was to play his music all over the world for 24 hours, just no other music, but just straight Sunrise music, that the problems and things we have down here on planet Earth would be solved.
I also remember him saying that if he got all his musicians together, planet Earth being a little out of a line, and how if he got all his musicians together and played one strong note, that he could put the Earth back in line. So it's powerful music, I know.
That it is.
Well, anyway, it is just past 2 o'clock here at WKCR FM New York, and now it's time to move to some of the album Discipline 2711. Charles?
Yes, and this is a 1973 recording on the Saturn Research label when they were based in Chicago, the label that is. And we're going to hear the track Neptune, I believe. And we'll run through the lineup, I think, after we hear it. This is from the album Discipline 2711, Sun Ra, WKCR FM, New York. And that was Sun Ra and the Orchestra. From the album Discipline 2711, the track Neptune, featuring Sun Ra on the space organ, Danny Thompson baritone sax, Danny Davis alto sax, Akhtal Iba flugelhorn, Kwame Hadi trumpet, space ethnic voices of June Tyson, John Gilmore, and Akhtal Iba. 1973 recording and release on the Saturn Research label. And my name is Charles Blass. I'm here with Andy Rotman. We're hosting this portion of the Sun Ra extravaganza here on WKCR FM New York. And we are joined by percussionist and bell man Pharoah Abdullah. And you mentioned that this record had special significance for you, and also that particular track, as that is your birth sign.
Yeah, that's my sun sign.
Right. So you want to talk a little bit about that and its relation to the orchestra and various discussions and so on regarding the zodiac and so.
Well, it's natural that I feel that once I've got into bells and understood it more, when I also came into a limited knowledge of astrology. As I say, I'm the medicine man of rhythm. And the medicine man is the one who deals with the people's spirit. And Neptune is the planet of medicine. It's the one that deals with feelings, sick folks. I even work in the hospital, taking care of sick people. And again, my success with them is I deal with the spirits. If your spirits are together, then your mental and your physical can be together. But if your spirit is down, it's impossible for your mental and physical to get together because your spirit is the higher part of you, and therefore it can pull up the mental and the physical.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you had a story that you wanted to tell us.
Say no one can leave here during an interview unless they've given the Sun Ra story, and you said this one was humorous, too.
Well, I liked it because it shows the humor side of Sun Ra. We was on tour in Europe, and we were in Paris at this theater. And we was doing a song, it was in outer space. We was walking across the stage, and this brother, Teddy Thomas, gave me this telephone. I passed by, he handed me this telephone. So I took the telephone up. It was just the telephone receiver, no card or nothing, just that piece. So I was walking across the stage with this to my ear. And Sun Ra saw me and told me to get off the stage, and he was very, very angry. And so after they finished playing, he came downstairs and he just went into me. Oh, did Sun Ra go into me and told me that his music was nothing comical about it, and his music was real, and he just berated me because I guess he thought I was being funny or something. But I really wasn't being funny because it wasn't that reason why I took that. It was because of the song that we were singing, and I just picked the phone up and I said, well, Sun Ra, I was like, I wasn't being fun. I was like trying to talk to my long lost love out in space or something. And I felt too bad. I was almost at the point of tears after a while, and I was just sitting over in the corner there. And I guess Sun Ra felt it because he feels all the members of the band. He can tell you just about what's on your mind. And anyhow, Sun Ra looked over at me and he said, Abdullah, he said, the next time that you have a telephone, make sure it rings. And I thought that was very nice because it took me out of those doldrums that I had put myself into. And because I was really, I wasn't trying to be funny when it happened.
So you needed the bells in there.
Yes, he said, make sure it rings.
Well, I should keep you in tune. We are WKCR FM New York 89.9, and it's almost 20 minutes past 2 here. We've gone over our, allotted time, but because Charles and I are the allotters, we can do that. And it was well worth it to have Pharoah Abdullah up here, but we should be moving on. Lots of music to cover. I thought 116 hours was a long time, but it really isn't when you're trying to cover the music of a master like Sun Ra and one so prolific. But we should move on to another cut from the Discipline 2711 album, the first cut on that side, which is
Pan Afro, and featured soloists and performers on this track: John Gilmore tenor sax, Aktali Ba trumpet, Kwame Hadi on trumpet, Sun Ra on the space organ, Danny Davis alto sax, and Pat Patrick on the bass. Pan Afro from the album Discipline 2711. And I might mention that we are going to be getting to the second part of the Cosmo Mystery Concert. Yes, the one and only. So keep those tape decks ready to go. This is really rare, and you might not ever get a chance again.
Well, the odds are you won't get another chance again unless we air it. We were lucky enough to get it from Spencer Weston. And as I was listening to it, I realized that it was a break in between sets, and the tape recorder was left on, and that's why that dead air arose. But we do have it all queued up again and all set to go. Well, before we get to the music, I'd like to thank Pharoah Abdullah again.
Man, it was
wonderful to have you up.
It was my pleasure. We also are thankful to WKCR for presenting this, because if it wasn't for people like you, there is so much that would be missed that should be done and people can't hear. But then I'm not too surprised that this should happen here, because you are here affiliated with an institution of higher learning, which is where we expect to have these things. And also, may I add lastly that it is my conclusions that we're not here to be here much longer. And that's the reason why Sun Ra is here. And I feel that when Sun Ra leaves this planet, that's it. We all going somewhere, but we're gonna. That's it.
Let's hope
Somewhere
we go to a better place in the cosmos. Well, with that, this is WKCR FM New York, and now we'll be tuning in to Discipline 2711.